Speech off.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm here to do my mid-month wrap-up. I did not read that many books this month. I had family visiting and I'm going to be really busy this weekend too. I just haven't had as much reading time as I normally would, but anyway, let's just get to this. So, the first book I read was Little Girl Lost by Casey Watson. This one is one of those fostering memoirs I like to read. It just came out, I think at the end of this month. At the end of last month, so. But this one's about a little girl who comes into foster care because her house was on fire and, like, you know, well, she doesn't have a home and her mom has mental illness type things. So the question is, did the kids set the fire? Did the mom set the fire? Because it wasn't an accident type of thing. Can't really say much more than that, but it was a good read. So, yeah, there's that one. Then I read The Runaway Dolls by Anna Martin. I gave this one 4 stars. I decided to pretty much read the whole Doll People series. T on BookTube was talking about them during middle grade March, so I read the first 2 last month, and I have one more left. The Doll People set sail. But it's been a fun read through. This one, the dolls run away from home. I can't tell you why, but yeah, a couple of dolls in the big city isn't exactly safe. So it's their adventures when they run away. So yeah, 4 stars. Then I read She Has My Child by Emma Robinson. I gave this one 5 stars. This one is Emma Robinson's latest book. I'm still waiting for My Stepmother's Secret. That one came out like a couple of years, or last year, but it did not come out in the States, I don't think. It hasn't been out on audio here, which sucks. I wonder how people decide which ones make it and which ones don't. Like, you know, which ones I'm going to get to read because they're available on audio in the US and which ones are not. Anyway. But this one was really good. It's about 2 sisters, and one of them has infertility issues, and the other one pretty much offers to be her surrogate. You know, like, carry the baby. And kind of how that unravels. I mean, you can kind of guess where it goes, right? Like, the sister gets attached to the baby. And then what I didn't count on, and it wasn't in the description, was that COVID comes into it. So, like, they live in separate parts of the world. And before COVID hit, she was kind of coming back. Her sister was carrying the baby, lives in France. So she was going between England and France for doctor's appointments. And then COVID hit and they were separated. And so, like, the sister gave birth in France and she couldn't come home to, well, give the baby to her sister, so she gets attached to the baby. It's a whole thing that, you know, COVID is kind of a big deal in this book. I mean, nobody dies or gets COVID or anything like that. No, I take that back. Somebody does get COVID. Whatever. But my point is, like, COVID is, like, the thing that makes them sort of drives the plot the way it does, because it's a thing that separates the sisters. Anyway, 5 stars. I really enjoyed this one. The next one is also a 5-star. It's The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. I heard about this one first from Gloria Z. Thompson. She didn't really like it. But I was instantly interested, which is good because I loved it. And then I think her name is Jen. I'm not sure. The Bookish Blonde. Either way, I'll tag you. She read it and she liked it. So I'll read the description. A woman risks everything to end her family's centuries-old curse, solve her mother's disappearance, and find love in this mesmerizing novel. Okay. In the small mountain town of Jasper, North Carolina, June Farrow is waiting for fate to find her. The Farrow women are known for their thriving flower farm and the mysterious curse that has plagued their family line. The whole town remembers the madness that led to Susanna Farrow's disappearance, leaving June to be raised by her grandmother and haunted by rumors. It's been a year since June started seeing and hearing things that weren't there. Faint wind chimes, a voice calling her name, and a mysterious door appearing out of nowhere. The signs of what June always knew was coming. But June is determined to end the curse once and for all, even if she must sacrifice finding love and having a family of her own. So, yeah, this book is really interesting. There's like time travel elements and topsy-turvy family. It is wild, kind of the twist and turn that the story takes. I really enjoyed it. It's a really great time travel book. So, yeah. And it's not all romance, honestly, which is what I like in a time travel. Anyway, so there's that. Then I finally started, because I got Hoopla working. Hoopla has been sort of inaccessible for a little bit, so I finally got it working, and I started my Boxcar Children journey. Chloe from Always Booked was reading a few of them to her kids, and she mentioned in her video that they were all available on Hoopla on audio. So I am going to read every single one of them because I never got to in childhood. I only read a few that were available on audio through Braille Institute. But anyway, first one is The Boxcar Children. I gave it 4 stars. You know, it's a lot less, they're a lot shorter than they felt like as when I was a kid. You know, the parents die and the 4 kids live in a boxcar. I actually read the prequel that was written by Patricia McLaughlin. I don't know how to pronounce her name. It's The Boxcar Children beginning, when they still live with their parents. I have to agree with Chloe, that one kind of sucked. And I don't know, like I read it, I think in November, December, before I started the series. And you know, I thought it would be good to start it that way. And then Hoopla went inaccessible for a bit. Inaccessible with blindness technology, so I had to put that on hold. Anyway, it's kind of interesting to read about them having parents and then to jump to this book where they don't have parents, and like we never really actually hear about their parents in the books. So I don't know if I'm going to consider that prequel canon. Anyway, but yeah, they live in this boxcar in this first one. You know, they're running away from their grandfather. The thing that kind of gets me about this book, I keep going back to the prequel, but like the grandfather is mentioned, and you know, he doesn't like, I think, their mom or something. I think he's their dad's dad. I can't remember. But my point is, like, at the end of this book, you know, they go to live with Grandpa. It's, you know, they're running away from him at the beginning of the book because Grandpa's so mean to them. He doesn't like their mom or whatever. He doesn't like one of their parents, so he's never seen them. And so by the end of the book, they go and live with him. And it's kind of like, okay, great. Because he's nice to you, you're just going to overlook that he was mean to your mother, and you're just going to go live with him? That's nice. Like, it was never resolved. Like, I want to know why he didn't see them. Like, why is he off the hook? I like the grandfather, you know, if you can just look past that. But I don't know, after reading that prequel where they're kind of struggling with the idea that he doesn't like them, it just, ew. I don't know. It felt like too tidy. Like, oh, he's a nice guy after all, just because he was nice to them and gave them a few presents. They're like, all right, we'll come and live with you. I don't know. Chloe, what do you think? Am I just overthinking this? Anyway, next I read Surprise Island. It's the second book. They basically go and live on this island for the summer, their grandfather's island. And it's kind of just like them living in the wild again, like in the first book. So it's fun. Can't really say much. Then The Yellow House Mystery also takes place on that island. It's a mystery of the yellow house that they never went into. 5 stars as well. And then I read Hard Left Turn. I read The Women by Kristen Hanna. I wasn't going to, just because, I don't know. I've never been that interested in the Vietnam War, but boy, I've been hearing about it from so many people. I wrote them all down. Getting Hooker with It, Gloria Z. Thompson, Lindsay's at a Library, Sarah's Nightstand, and then finally, Book Lover Amanda. Actually, I was reading it along with her because well, not along with her, like, kind of. She did this reading vlog where she was reading it, and so I kept stopping at the places where she would stop in the vlog and watch her reaction to each part as I got to it, if that makes sense. So it was a really fun way to read with her because we were, like, reacting to the same things at the same time. More or less. Anyway, it was fun reading it that way. But it's about this girl named Frankie. Her brother goes into war, into the Vietnam War, and, like, her dad has, like, this wall of, like, soldiers, the Pride Wall, or I forget what he calls it. And he puts her brother, like, on the wall, and she wants to be on this wall too. You know, she wants to do something, you know, she feels patriotic too, and so she decides to follow her brother. Her and her brother are really close. So she signs up to follow him, and, well, the war is obviously a lot more than she bargained for. She's, like, pretty, you know, upper class, so how they live is shocking, and just, like, the different awful things she has to see is also shocking. But she makes these really good nurse friends that really help her along through the years. Ethel and I forget what the other one's name is. Anyway. But yeah, I love her friends, and you really get to see, like, there's a lot of war scenes. And then I think the worst part, though, for me, like, I mean, like, the war stuff is gruesome, but, like, when she comes home, the way they treat her, like, she tries to get help over and over again, and they're like, there were no women in Vietnam, that, you know, this didn't happen, you didn't suffer like we did. So, like, the men were treated badly, but the women were treated worse, because they didn't even exist. And so, like, I don't know, this book felt just like one bad thing after another for her. Like, everything bad that could possibly happen to a person happened to her, and it was so sad. And yet so compelling to read. So, yeah, it was interesting that way. But it ended on a high, though, thank God. I cried, just like you do in most Kristen Hanna books. I couldn't fully forgive her parents, especially her dad. Like, he was literally ashamed that she went into war because she was a woman, and he said some bad things to her when she got back, and they resolved it in a sweet way, but I'm a grudge holder. I'm not that forgiving. You'd probably be dead to me if you said some of the things he said. Anyway, 5 stars. Last book I read was, I needed a break from the sad. So I read Cedar Cove book. I'm still reading those. I read 6 Rainier Drive by Devi Maycomer. What did I give this book? I didn't post a rating. I think probably 4 stars. It wasn't, like, the best book in the world. We get the romance with, what's her name? Her and the chess player, the rich chess player. Terry, I think her name was. So we start to get their romance in this one, and we continue Mary Ellen and John's story about his parents and how he can't forgive them. I don't know. Like, I appreciated this grudge, even though, like, Mary Ellen and then Grace, her mom, was kind of like, you know, that he should forgive his parents. I can't really say what they did, but suffice it to say that it's something that I wouldn't have them in my life afterwards. So I don't think he needs to be like a monster about them either, the way he was. Like, I think there's a way to forgive someone without having them in your life. And I don't think that these characters realize that. Like, to them, forgiveness is like fully like, I love you and you're going to be a part of my kid's life and, you know, all this stuff. Forgiveness can just mean letting it go and just letting them live their lives in peace and not hating them. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that we're going to be a happy family. So, like, I think that, like, characters in books don't often realize that. And that's kind of how it was in this book, like, where John's wife wanted, like, reconciliation, complete reconciliation, which is when it ends up happening because, you know, it's a family story. But, like, I'm glad that at least if it had to happen, even though I don't think it should have, it took a few books to get there because, like, what they did was very bad. Like, they don't deserve it. And again, I think he needs to forgive them for himself, but I also don't think forgiving them needs to involve them being in his life or their life. Like, I think that's a little much, but anyway. Either way, it was a really good read. I'm going to keep going with the series just because I need some feel-good books too. But probably the second half of the month, I'm going to read a lot of Amish books for Amish in April. I'm probably going to post my reading plans for that readathon. So, yeah, just assume that all my books are going to be Amish second half of the month. Probably not all of them. I'll probably sprinkle in a couple of things. I do have a couple of thrillers I want to get to, but anyway. That's the end of this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm really hoping to get to 100 subscribers by the end of June. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.
Speech on. Stop recording video.